I think if I sit here on the ground, it's less obvious to the people in the apartment across from me that I'm taking a video of myself, because this is very embarrassing for me. And I know I said that in like my last video, or maybe it was the video before, but whatever. Today, we are here to discuss if my 5-star predictions were actually accurate. So I made 12 5-star predictions, and I read 9 out of 12 of my 5-star predictions. Probably should have done all that math before I hit record, but let's just get into it. Do I feel like pulling the books out? Oh, I could. I really could. I guess I will. All right. I should have done all of this before I hit record. In fact, give me a second. I grabbed as many as I could, so let's just get into it. My first 5-star prediction is one that I did not read, and it is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I am so intimidated by this book. It's actually insane. So as far as I understand, A Little Life is about a group of friends, and we just go through their life, like multiple decades, I think, and it's just like really depressing and sad. And like basically what I've heard is this book is like a walking trigger warning. So that's also part of why I'm like terrified to read it, because I'm like, I would say I'm pretty good at like handling stuff, but I'm still like, what if I can't handle it? I mean, I could always DNF it. I'll get to it. Like, it's just so big and so depressing, and I cannot put myself into like a really bad mental space in the middle of the school year, because then I will fail my classes. So I can only read this. I feel like maybe I could read it now and be okay by the time the semester starts again. I don't know. I meant to read it this summer and then I didn't, because it's so scary to me. This book is so threatening to me, but I really, really want to read it because like everyone's read it, and I want to know if I cry like a little bitch, because if a book can make me cry, like it stays in my heart for a very long time. Next is The Diviners by Libba Bray, which is at my dad's house, and this was not 5 stars for me. I think I gave it 4 stars, I want to say. Yeah, I was really disappointed. Oh, right. Note to self. I'm gonna talk about what these books are about. You guys, I'm getting better. Okay, The Diviners by Libba Bray is a 1920s light fantasy mystery YA horror-ish, kind of. How do I even describe that? I literally don't know how to describe it. I would just look up the description on Goodreads. If what I just said appealed to you, go and look it up, because like I am not going to be explaining it better than that. I'm so sorry. I tried. I loved this book for the characters, but something about it just didn't like slap as hard as I was expecting, and because it had been so hyped up to me and because it was a 5-star prediction, I was like a little bit disappointed by it. Maybe I should make a most disappointing video reads of the year. That would be on it for sure. But yeah, this was not a 5-star, unfortunately. The next one, however, was, and that is Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groden. I have talked about this book so goddamn much, it's actually not funny. And every time I talk about it, I don't know how to explain it. Let's do this. It is about a girl who can shapeshift. She is a Jewish girl. This is an alternate. This is awful. Oh my god. Okay, let me start again. Alternate universe. The Axis powers won the war. Yael is a Jewish girl who has escaped from a concentration camp. She, because of experiments she was put under, can shapeshift into other people. She uses this ability to enter a motorcycle race, and the prize for winning the race is getting to meet Hitler, whom she wants to kill. There. Boom. I don't think I did it any better than any other time I've described it, but that's what this book is about. How many times can I talk about this? A million and one. This book is so fucking good. It is definitely one of my favorite books of all time. Again, the romance was a little weird to me for a little while, but whatever. We'll get over it. I don't want to harp on this too long because I do talk about this in like pretty much every video, but it's so good. It was so fucking good. And the second one was just as good, and I can't wait to read the little prequel short story. Ugh, I'm excited. Next up was another failure of a prediction, and that is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This book I had fun with. Here's the thing. By the time I got around to reading this, it was no longer actually a 5-star prediction for me, but because I like said it as one, I'm still gonna talk about it. But By the time I got around to reading this, I had a feeling. I was like, okay, this is not gonna be 5 stars. So I would actually say this went above my expectations. I think it ended up being a 4-star. And so even though it wasn't a 5-star and this is like a 5-star prediction video, it still somehow beat my expectations because, I don't know, I think I have just really come to understand that, like, I do not trust book talk and that I have really begun moving away from a lot of romances, which is such a bummer because that used to be my favorite genre. But yeah, this book, I don't know, it didn't really do anything new or special. I think I said that in my best books by month video. It was perfectly okay. Well, it was better than okay. How do I describe this? You know what? I don't want to keep just saying like, well, go watch this video instead because like you clicked on this video for a reason, but I also don't want to keep reiterating things and like pissing people off. Yeah, this book is about a woman who works in this office with this man and they hate each other, kind of the enemies to lovers. They're not really enemies as always. But then she tells her family that she has a date to her sister's wedding, and she doesn't, and so then this guy's like, well, I'll go with you. So then they have to like kind of fake date. Yeah, they have to like fake being a couple while in Spain at this wedding. I thought the writing was really pretty. This was definitely a little longer than it needed to be, and I just like could not wait for them to get to fucking Spain. Like, I love myself a slow burn, but we were like halfway through and I was like, okay, come on, like, let's get to Spain. So yeah, this actually exceeded my expectations even though it was not 5 stars. Next up is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Again, I did not read this, and this is also another one where I don't think it's a 5-star prediction anymore just because I have been hearing really not wonderful things about Lucy Foley's latest works. I'm hoping it could still like be a 5-star for me because thrillers aren't usually the genre I read. Also, I'm trying to say like less. I need to hammer that in. Thrillers aren't usually the genre that I read, so I'm hoping maybe it's not a 5-star for the people who are super familiar with the genre, but maybe it'll still be a 5-star for me because I've never really delved in that deeply. I don't know. Here's to hoping.
Essentially what this book is about, as far as I remember, is that someone is invited to stay, I think, with her brother in his apartment in Paris or something like that. But when she shows up, he's missing. And so she has to go through everyone in that apartment building and figure out what happened to her brother, is kind of what I understand it's about, ?
Ooh, next up was one featured in my previous video, which is not a good sign because my previous video was my worst reads of 2022, and that is Pride and Prejudice, which I didn't pull out because actually after I went and filmed that video, I literally shoved that book behind all of my other classics to like hide it because I don't want to see it on my shelf. It doesn't give me good vibes, but I'm pretty sure I've highlighted in it, so I can't give it back to a secondhand bookstore, so I have to just donate it or like put it in a little one of those library box things. Like the little thing that neighborhoods have, I don't know. Yeah, Pride and Prejudice, if you don't know what it's about, I'm not gonna explain it to you. It's like a classic it's kind of like an original enemies to lovers type of classic. And it was boring as shit, and that's kind of it. Like, that is genuinely sort of it. It was at my number 2 spot. Like, that is how much I didn't like it. I DNF'd it. I gave it a 1 star, but I still don't have all that much to say about it because, like, it was just so boring and, like, tedious and stupid and overhyped. Everyone loves Pride and Prejudice, and I don't understand. Next up, Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. This is another one that I did not get to read, but I'm really actually sad about that. Dude, I can see there's a homeless man dumpster diving in the alley across from me. That, or he's going to the bathroom in it. Yeah, he was going to the bathroom in it. You know what? Hey, you know what? That's his options. Good for him. All right. Pachinko by Min Jin Lee is actually what I'm very upset about having not gotten the chance to read yet. That is still a 5-star prediction. It's definitely a 5-star prediction for 2023. I want to read it so bad. I don't even own a copy. I've literally never heard anyone say one negative thing about it. The only thing that's come even slightly close was like Jack Edwards just like put out a video saying that that, like, apparently he DNF'd it, but it wasn't because he didn't like it. He just, like, will come back to it. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I've literally never heard anyone say anything bad about this book. And so, like, I'm just so excited. I've also been reading kind of my first multi-generational story, which is The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende. And I've been loving that. So I'm really excited to read another multi-generational story. The next one I have read, and that would be In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. So this book is kind of the OG true crime book, and it follows Truman Capote. It's about the Clutter murders in Kansas, and the two men who did it and why they did it in cold blood. And it was not 5 stars for me, it was 4 stars. It was quite, it just made me, like, slightly uncomfortable, the fact that it felt like we were almost, like, reading a story about the killers, and, like, in a weird way, it sometimes felt like we were supposed to be almost empathizing with one of the killers, and there have been, like, rumors that, like, Truman Capote was in love with one of the killers, because also he refused to release this book until that specific killer died. I don't know, I'm just like, baby, like, Truman, buddy, like, I think the whole point is, like, he's a murderer, like, he's gonna be manipulative. Like, I think that's kind of like, I know, it just made me slightly uncomfortable. It was 4 stars, though. I think it was definitely cool for me to, like, read what started a genre that I'm very fascinated by. But in comparison to more modern true crime books that I've read, didn't slap as hard. Just gonna say it. Next up was absolutely a motherfucking 5-star read, and that was Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This book, holy shit, my dude. Holy shit, this fucking book. Like, I have gone on and on and on about how amazing this book is, and it is amazing. It is written by Chanel Miller, who is the survivor in the Stanford sexual assault case. You may know it better from the piece of shit's name. I don't even want to say it, but it rhymes with crock burner. I would prefer to call him disgusting piece of maggot shit. Yeah. Anyways, it follows that. She was a Jane Doe for a long, long time. Her name was not released or anything. And so this book was actually her way of coming out and saying, hi, this is who I am. I'm the person that you all know about but have never known. Here is who I actually am. But it's a lot more than just about that sexual assault case. It's mostly about her growing from that and finding strength again after that and finding support in the people around her. It's about misogyny and rape culture as a whole. It's just a really, really important book, and I really recommend reading this or giving it, if you have kids, maybe like give it to you can read it at, like, obviously I would recommend being a certain age because it's dealing with a heavy topic, but you can read it whenever. But, like, if you want to give it to, like, your teenagers or something, I think this would be a good book. I don't know, I'm just saying. If I ever have kids, which is doubtful, I'm definitely making them read that shit once they get to a certain age because I just thought it was so important. The next 5-star prediction was And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Buckman. And this was not a 5-star read. This is a tiny little short story about a grandpa explaining to his beloved grandson that he has Alzheimer's. I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or dementia. Am I stupid for saying that? Is that the same thing? Or is Alzheimer's a form of dementia? I'm a psychology major. Oh, I should definitely know that. That is embarrassing. Anyways, he is explaining to his beloved grandson that he has dementia and that even though he might still physically be here, he won't mentally be around for all that much longer, and you're kind of inside his mind and, like, sort of feeling him slip away. And it's a very beautiful book. Did not make me cry as hard as I was expecting it to. I don't know, I thought it was really cute, and it's a really easy, simple read, but it just didn't slap like I was hoping it would. The next one, In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. I have recently talked about this book. I talk about this book in great detail all the time. I love this book so much. This is, like, a lot of people complain and say it's pretentious, and I can see that, but book tabs are so pretty, and this book is just, like, so, like, structured and nice. I don't know, I just love it. But there's just, how do I say something that I haven't already said before about this? I just thought if you are looking for a book to sit down and annotate and read deeply, if you are looking for a book that says a lot more than what it says on page, if you are looking looking for a book that is able to manipulate your reading experience into being part of the lesson you learn, this is the book for you. It is a memoir about a woman who was in an abusive lesbian relationship, but similar to Know My Name, it is so much more than that basic description. And this fucking book, I haven't stopped thinking about it. I really haven't. And the last book is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was a 5-star prediction. It was in fact 5 stars. How annoying is that? Yeah, like I said in my best books by month, I understand why a lot of people didn't like this as much as Daisy Jones or Evelyn Hugo, but for me, on a personal level, this just said so much to me and resonated with me so deeply and hurt me and made me grow as a writer and as a reader and as a person. Like, this is an amazing fucking book. This is an amazing book. It's still not better than Seven Husbands, in my opinion, but I don't know. I'm excited to read Carrie Soto, and because I feel like, is she only making 4? Where did I get this idea in my head that Taylor Jenkins Reid is only making 4 of these famous person books? But for some reason, that's what it is in my head, is that it's just 4. I don't know why, but I'm really excited to read Carrie Soto and see how it compares. So yeah, those are my 12 5-star predictions for the year, and the 9 of them that I have read. How many of them were actually correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's not good. Only 4 out of 12. But you know what? The 4 that were really fucking solid, so here's to a good reading year. Happy almost Christmas. It's December 23rd as I'm recording this. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. Whatever you are celebrating. I know a lot of people are celebrating Hanukkah right now. Happy Hanukkah. I'm really not sure what other types of holidays are happening right now. Yeah, I feel like the lighting really went down in quality over the span of the video. But I've been trying to catch this natural light. I've been embarrassing myself every day for you guys so that I can sit in front of this goddamn window in front of so many people can see me right now, and it's so embarrassing. So be grateful, because I'm doing this for you, my loyal fans and followers.